Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel. So today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. It looks like StreamYard is moving the video a bit slower, but hopefully you can hear me. We'll work on that in the background. In the meantime, I want to thank you all for coming to Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel. Please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment or question in the comment section, and also share this video to someone you know that's interested in this type of content or real estate news. Now we're going to start, as we always do, with the link in the bio highlight of the week. For you on YouTube, it's the link in the description box. That link is also moving about at the bottom of your screen. It is beacons.ai/Jalon Strong. The link in the bio highlight of the week is called Let's Talk. It's our consultation video call. With this link, from the link in the description box or the link in the bio, you are able to speak with me about your home ownership journey and your desires in transitioning in your home ownership journey for up to 1 hour. During that time, we'll talk about how to get you connected to other real estate experts that can help you on your journey, how I can best help you, whether that is representing you myself or referring you to another real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker. All of that we can talk about on this video call for up to 1 hour. For this consultation, you will need to be on video and you will need to schedule that from the link in the bio or the link in the description box. If you do not attend that scheduled time that you've chosen, please reschedule prior to that time so that you do not incur a $15 no-show fee. That is non-refundable should you not attend the video call on video at the scheduled time. That's our link in the bio highlight of the week, or link in the bio or link in description box. Now we're going to talk about this discount code. On our website, dtkrealty.com/shop, you are able to type in the word SISTA as it is on the screen, SISTAH, where you can receive 20% off of all of our products at the Dreams to Keys Realty website. You can use this code until the end of the month of March 2025. So at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time would be the last time that you could use this code for any products on our site, dtkrealty.com/shop. So please use that code today, and we hope that you would share it with others so they can utilize the 20% off discounts with the code SISTA at checkout of our website, dtkrealty.com/shop. We have several products on our site, including ebooks, as well as physical products such as our journals. We have hardcover and spiral journals. We also have shirts with various colors and white and black writing. We also have our baseball style tees, hoodies, which I'm wearing one at this time. So here's one of our hoodies. My Dreams Have Keys is our biggest collection on our site. And we also have crew necks. So please view our site, check out our shop, and use the discount code SISTA at checkout before the end of the month. Now we're going to talk about why we're here, which is the new Alabama law on home tours and its impact. I'm going to share my screen where I will present an article reviewing this new law, and then I'll give commentary on my thoughts as how this can impact not just the state of Alabama, because as many of you may know, I am a native of Alabama, but I live in Georgia and practice real estate in Georgia. So we're going to talk about the impact of that and what it could mean for real estate moving forward. So I'm sharing my screen with the article, and I want to make sure everyone can see. All right, give me 1 second. All right, so we now have the article up where I can see that everyone can see what I'll be reading. This is an article from realestatenews.com. It was written by Stephanie Reed Simmons on March 21st, 2025, and it's a 2-minute read. The title is New Alabama Law: Buyers Can Tour Homes Without a Contract. So, first, let me give a bit of a preface of what happens, at least in the state of Georgia, when it's regarding buyer tours. So, and specifically from my practices and experience, when it comes to a real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker taking a buyer or potential buyer to a home for a tour, it can be a little tricky. From a buyer's perspective, historically, in times past, that has been a way for the buyer to somewhat get a feel if this real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker is a good fit. For example, if you were a buyer or potential buyer and potential or actual client of that real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker, then this may be a way for you to feel how well they are taking your preferences, non-negotiables, and finding homes that match. So that does involve some communication before going on the home tour. And here there is a bit of a concern where with the new Alabama law, there is no contract being enforced before going on the home tour. And like I said before, you typically would have some type of communication from the real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker to the buyer or potential buyer who would theoretically be a client if a contract or an agreement had been signed. And one of the reasons why, as real estate experts, we would like to have agreements is because, one, we don't want to have ambiguity when it comes to such a big transaction. For many people, the biggest financial transaction or even debt that you have is the one when you purchase your home. So, such a big financial transaction, in theory, you would want, and also in practice, we would want something in writing. Also, it helps to prevent those other agents. Maybe if you're a buyer that says, I'm going to call whatever agent is available. I know a lot of people. They know a lot of people who are real estate agents, realtors, or real estate brokers. So I'll just see whoever is available and I'll get them to take me to a home. What you can then run into, which the agreements help to mitigate a bit, is who showed you the home first and how was this introduced to you in a way that should you buy that home, that it was first introduced by this particular real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker, but then maybe you went several times with other real estate experts and now it's unclear whose commission or compensation at this point should be, how the compensation should be given or even divided. So the agreements are intended from a realtor, real estate agent, real estate broker aspect to be a means to make it clear what the expectations are up front so that there's no issue in the background once there is a purchase. From the buyer's perspective, I can see if you're not quite sure, maybe you really don't know this real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker all that well, I can see how you may say, oh, I want to try to figure out who is the best fit first before really signing on the dotted line that I'm working with this real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker. The caveat to that, at least for the state of Georgia, because I've never been a realtor or real estate agent in the state of Alabama, but in the state of Georgia, you can sign a contract or an agreement that says we're terminating the previous agreement to work together as realtor, real estate agent, real estate broker with myself. If you're the buyer, that would be you as the client at that time. So you can write an agreement or sign an agreement severing that. Of course, anything that real estate agent, realtor, or real estate broker introduced to you as far as properties during that time, they could still be owed compensation if you decide to go back with someone else and purchase that property. So here, as a realtor, real estate agent, this type of news is big. It sends alarms, I think, on realtors' ends because it leaves open a door for confusion. Because when things are not in writing, then it could be verbal, which leaves it up to interpretation, which gets really messy. So as realtors, I could see that this could be a major concern. For buyers, they could say, oh, this is beneficial. So we're going to read this document and see what we gather from this article to help us kind of piece together what happened here and why this new law was put in place. So let's start. New Alabama law: buyers can tour homes without a contract. Buyer agreements are a good thing, Alabama Realtor CEO says, but the law, inspired in part by the DOJ, which is Department of Justice, gives consumers and agents more time to negotiate. So let's see what that means here in the rest of the article. A new law in Alabama makes it clear that would-be home buyers in the state can't be forced to sign a binding contract just to look at a home. An update to the previous law and a response to potential red flags about buyer agreements, the CEO of the state's Realtor Association told Real Estate News on Friday. We think written buyer agreements are a good thing. They are healthy. They're good for consumers. They're good for our members, Alabama Realtor CEO Jeremy Walker said. It's good to have the terms of representation in writing, clarity for both parties, but you've got to be sure that people have adequate time to consider the terms and negotiate those terms. Enter House Bill 230, which was passed unanimously by Alabama lawmakers and signed Thursday by the governor. The new law, which will take effect in a month, was created to head off workarounds like a potentially risky sign now, amend later approach to buyer agreements and compensation, Walker said. It was also inspired by the Department of Justice statement of interest on the topic, in which the DOJ said a buyer agreement signed before a home tour could limit competition. All right, so that part of the article pretty much mentioned a lot of the points that I mentioned before. Essentially, that it helps to make clear expectations, having something in writing. However, the DOJ and the Alabama lawmakers have said, based on the Alabama lawmakers unanimously passing the House Bill 230, that there have been workarounds to where people, I guess, in this state were having some interactions where they signed and were looking to amend at a later time. And though I'm not in Alabama, I'm just giving my perspective about what happens or could happen potentially in Georgia. And honestly, to me, amendments can happen at every stage until the purchase is complete. So you can amend the realtor or real estate agent buyer agreement. The executed contract might need amendments or addendums. So to me, that I'm not sure how much of a problem that is in Alabama, as far as that being such an issue to now be introduced to lawmakers in a House bill. But that just sounds like, you either agree to terms to work together. If you want to adjust those terms later, that's an option. But you at least want to start off clear as far as what you're expecting of each other. And if you're not expecting the same things up front, then you just don't work together and you look for someone else that can. For example, in the state of Georgia, there may be times where I may not have the expertise for a potential home buyer that comes to me, or I may be out of their area. And it's my ethical responsibility to then say, after having that conversation, say, okay, I think you might be better suited for someone who's in this service line or in this area. And I would be happy to refer you to that individual that I find for you. Are you open to that? And there's an agreement for that. So there's so many different types of agreements. I think from maybe a lay perspective, there's just a thought of the agreement between the real estate agent and the buyer, the contract, and the agreement or the signature at signing for that contract with, the purchase of the home. But there's so many other documents that are available, at least for us in the state of Georgia. So I'm not sure how big of a problem that is in the state of Alabama that it needed to go to this level. But once the DOJ has an impact on a decision, I could see why, if that type of statement was made, then each state may have to look at it. Now, because the state of Alabama has made this decision, I could see other states looking into it and saying, is this a problem for us too? Do we need to make an adjustment? Do we need to follow along with what the state of Alabama has decided here, or do we need to make a different type of change? So let's look further into the article where it says how we got here. A key part of the National Association of Realtors $418 million deal to settle commissions lawsuits is the requirement that buyers sign an agreement with an agent before getting a tour of a home, and that agreement must spell out how the agent will be paid. While these agreements can take a range of forms, from a non-exclusive touring agreement to more robust contracts with varying degrees of consumer friendliness, they must be in place or agents are potentially putting themselves at risk of being sued. Yes, from a realtor, real estate agent, real estate broker perspective, especially realtor, because this is the National Association of Realtors speaking in this part or being referenced in this part, it is very risky for an agent to take someone that they don't even know. If you don't have an agreement with that person, for all you know, the name they sign on the document or the name they tell you may not even be their real name. You don't have any paperwork to confirm this is who they said they were, this is who they signed as. There's so much risk there. And also, we have heard, and in the realtor body, we've experienced real estate agents, realtors going to show homes and unfortunately being harmed. So this type of legislation being introduced, even if it's in a different state, rings alarm bells for realtors, because it puts them in a position where they have to think of their safety as well. Because some people may say that they are looking to buy a home, do not have a pre-approval, and now this is being introduced as not even having an agreement with the realtor. And you just take them on a tour and you hope they have good intentions and you hope that you're not wasting your time and energy. That could be risky and time consuming. And I can see how realtors could consider, is this now worth my energy? I could see how this may deter realtors from working with buyers, because that risk is there. For example, if you work with the seller, of course, they're inviting you in the home. They want you to see the home because they want you to help them sell the home, right? So there's more openness there with that. You're going to see that home multiple times. You're going to show the home. So there's a level of a better rapport built there because of not only contracts or agreements, but also the knowing where they live. That helps you build that comfort level because you're selling that property if you're representing a seller. But here on the buyer end, I do see how this could help deter realtors from working with buyers for a safety reason and the risk of potentially not even being compensated for all the work and energy they're putting out there. So just if you are a home buyer, I would caution that you think about this and look into this from your perspective and see if there's something on your end that maybe you would like to offer to help a realtor be more comfortable given this type of law being introduced in the state of Alabama, if you're really interested in working with a realtor, because it's looking, and this is just me as a realtor in a different state speaking, this looks scary and risky to a realtor. And so I could see how maybe they might want to work more with sellers if that's the type of interaction they have to look forward to. And it is one that they have to think about their safety as well. Because if you're thinking about it, you have no agreement with this person. So you're not promised anything. You have no compensation in writing, right? No agreement has been made. No expectations have been outlined between you and the potential home buyer. At this point, you may not even know if they're pre-approved for anything. So you don't know if, as a realtor, they're going in there to take things from the property. That's a risk, right? Most of the time when people put their, as the phrase goes, money where their mouth is, meaning they have pre-approval and they've got something in an agreement, they've signed an agreement, they typically behave. They typically don't go into a property, try to do anything to the property. There's a lot of risk that comes to that when you're a realtor. And you just don't know people's intentions. You can't assume just because you intend to just take them in the home to tour it, that that's all they intend to do in that home. And like I said, realtors, real estate agents, real estate brokers, we have unfortunately heard of our colleagues near and far having issues with safety, some even being harmed. So we don't want, of course, to have that happen to us or other colleagues. So it's really risky for a realtor with this type of news. We'll finish off this article, the NAR perspective on state laws about agreements. The National Association of Realtors says that state law prevails over the terms of the NAR settlement, at times adding the caveat that this applies when state law requires a buyer agreement sooner than the settlement does. However, the settlement itself says it applies unless inconsistent with state or federal law. So to me, that sounds like which is the more strict? Is it the state or the federal? And here, based on this language, it seems like the state of Alabama in this case would be more strict. But I'm not an attorney and I'm not a lawyer. So let's move on. Alabama's new law appears to align with the text of the NAR settlement and with Colorado's approach. Realtors in Colorado have made it clear, let me read that again. Regulators in Colorado have made it clear that state law does not require potential buyers to sign an agreement before touring a property. And let me just play an advocate for the realtors again on this issue. Just because something is not required does not mean that that realtor may not have that preference. So you can say, no, I don't want to do it. And by law, you don't have to. But as a realtor, there's not really a law that says, to my knowledge, for Georgia or Alabama, there's not a law that says, to my knowledge, that a realtor just has to take you regardless. So as a buyer, you may be limiting your ability to go to those tours if every realtor were to say, yeah, but for my safety, for our practices, we just prefer this to happen. We know you're not required to sign anything, but we want to have some safety measures in place to protect us and you and make sure that there's clear expectations. So it doesn't sound like it's required, but because there's so much lawsuits, DOJ involvement, I can see where this can be quite sticky for a realtor to be willing to discuss outside of what's being presented in the laws, because of course they don't want additional lawsuits, don't want anything being said because things are not in writing. There's got to be some type of communication, and at this point it leaves it to verbal, which I don't think is very good for anything, especially like I said, with most people, the biggest financial debt or transaction you have in your life is buying a home. And probably second to that is student loan debt for our millennials and younger. So I'm not so sure how this will roll out. And it didn't say that it passed the Senate, it just said it was passed in the House. So I'm not sure if it has completely, if it started in the Senate. The way the article read, it just spoke about the House. So that is the end of the article. I'm going to stop sharing. And I want to know you all's thoughts, because I have perspective as a realtor primarily, because that is my current role, though I'm in a different state. But what are your thoughts? What are your questions? I'm not sure if I can answer many questions as it relates to the state of Alabama, because I don't practice in that state and I am a practicing realtor in Georgia. But I can see a lot of concerns coming out of this. I don't see how making things less written makes things more clear. I don't see that. And I apologize for StreamYard being a bit delayed with the visuals. I'm still working on that in the background, guys. But it just does not feel that this is moving in a direction of safety, clear expectations, or even clear directions. Because from a realtor perspective, what does this look like? What does this mean? And what does this communicate to other states? And what is the impact to the home buyer? And home buyers are not always the ones that are just looking to buy a home to live in. Home buyers are technically investors as well. What does this look like? Whether you're looking to fix and flip, fix and hold, live in the home as a primary residence, have it as a secondary residence, pass it down to your children, whatever your plan and vision is in the homeownership journey, what does this mean for you? And even if you're not in the state of Alabama, it will likely come up in your state in some form or fashion. So that's all I have for everyone today. Thank you for watching this video if you're here on the live, and thank you for watching if you're here on the replay. Once again, we're working on the visuals to not be so delayed, but we hope that you can hear that the audio is clear and that you're able to follow along on the article. Thank you all for coming to Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel. Don't forget to go to our website and use the discount code SISTA for 20% off of all products at our website. You can go straight to our shop by going to dtkrealty.com/shop. We would love to see you use that discount code, which is available for use until the end of the month. So March 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the last time that you can type in the discount code SISTA at checkout on our shop. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comments section. Once again, please subscribe to this channel. We cover a variety of real estate topics, including reviewing Gwinnett and DeKalb County's market data at least once a month. We cover interesting news topics on real estate at least once a month is what we desire to do. And also we cover other topics like our bingo to home ownership, which the next one will be April 5th. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss any of the content that we review, post, or anytime that we go live. I am Jalon Strong, the Essential Millennial Realtor of Dreams to Keys Realty, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day and weekend.